Alright, we got the spoilers for chapter 16, and we're continuing the fight between Mahoraga and Dabura, but that's only like half of the chapter. The other half of the chapter, surprisingly, we're coming back to Tsurugi versus Maru, and I guess we're seeing like round one of their fight. So this time around, we actually have some text spoilers, like, you know, how we used to do back in the prime days of Jujutsu Kaisen spoilers, so we're going to be going over those today. Currently, the 10 Shadows technique is considered a forbidden technique within the Gojo clan. We found out at the end of the original series that Akotsu took over the Gojo clan. So, you know, we know that Yuka and Tsurugi are a part of that. Therefore, Yuka having the 10 Shadows means that it's like forbidden within the clan. Now, why is it forbidden? I'm assuming because Mahoraga? Is because he's just so unbelievably powerful, and that it was said in the original series that no sorcerer in history, like at least 1,000 years, has been able to tame Mahoraga. In fact, I think the only person ever to tame Mahoraga was Sukuna. Yuka was only allowed to use it in a limited way, extracting only abilities of some Shikigami. So this explains what Yuka was doing. She was just extracting some abilities from the Shikigami and then using them physically, I suppose. It's not like a new version of the 10 Shadows. It's kind of just like a new way of using it, which Megumi didn't use in the original series because I guess he just didn't know. Which is understandable because, you know, he was still relatively young. And Yuka is just as old as Megumi was, but she has all of this data on the 10 Shadows that I guess Megumi didn't. Megumi wasn't really raised by the Zhoniin clan, but Yuka, I don't want to say she's a Nepo baby, but I mean, she literally is a Nepo baby. So that's why she has access to all of this information and training and whatnot that, you know, Megumi and the characters from the original series didn't. Yuka is in a state of suspended death. Therefore, the exorcism ritual will only end with the death of Dabura or the destruction of Mahoraga. With either of those options, in any case, Yuka will end up dying. So yeah, that kind of goes without saying, I suppose. I mean, her being in a suspended state of death, maybe that's metaphorical. I don't know if when she goes inside of the 10 Shadows realm or whatever she did in the previous chapter, if she's like suspended in death there. I think she's just chilling there, but yes, for sure. Like I said, it goes without saying that if Dabura wins, then he's going to kill Yuka anyway. But if Mahoraga wins, then I guess he's going to kill Yuka too. Because I guess the exorcism technically doesn't end until the user of the 10 Shadows itself either dies or tames Mahoraga. Hey, also guys, can we try to get 3,000 likes on this video? Probably not going to happen, but we can at least try. Thanks guys, I appreciate it. Dabura realizes that Mahoraga was the product of a summoning. He deduces that both he and the cursed spirits are forms of cursed energy native to Earth, and that in this case, the Shikigami, they fight in place of the sorcerer possessing their own techniques. Dabura realizes that Mahoraga is adapting to his technique and that no matter how much damage he inflicts on it, it recovers. And yes, that's exactly what we're seeing in this chapter. Dabura is lighting up Mahoraga yet again with all of these like light tube things that he's able to produce. And he's like blowing Mahoraga apart multiple times in this chapter, but Mahoraga just keeps regenerating. Like he even blows Mahoraga's like head off, but then he still comes back from that. So he seemingly can't just take him out in one shot the way that like Gojo and Sukuna were capable of doing. Or at least, I don't know, maybe he just hasn't gone that far yet. Like Dabura has been built up to be this ultimate big bad, even possibly stronger than Sukuna, and so far he's not like outperforming Sukuna. The narrator tells us that Mahoraga is the treasure of the Zhoniin clan and that its adaptation ability is perfect for facing off against Dabura. This is as far as their fight goes in this chapter. We move on to Tsurugi versus Maru. Tsurugi is surprised that Maru knows fencing, which I guess just means swordsmanship. While Maru finally believes that Yuka told him about Tsurugi's heavenly restriction, physical strength in exchange for not possessing cursed energy. Maru finds it problematic to face Tsurugi until he gets used to it. All of his attacks feel like ambushes. After a couple of attacks, Maru realizes he's underestimated his rival. So yeah, in the beginning of this fight, surprisingly, Tsurugi is like taking it to Maru. He actually like, I think rocks him and like knocks him down at first. I thought that this would have been more one-sided on Maru's end because we saw how powerful Maru was before, but then again, he was kind of like unconscious. And we'll get more into that because it's kind of explained almost what happened in that sequence back when we actually saw Maru fight, I think around chapter 5, 6, somewhere around there. Tsurugi tries to convince Maru. He asks him that if not all the Sumerians, at least make Dabura leave the earth. That way, Yuka and Mahoraga's ritual could be canceled. This is a good proposal. However, Maru tells him it's impossible. Dabura would never return to Samoria because of the curse weighing on his sister caused by the chief of the Diskunte. So yeah, that's what we found out a couple chapters ago, that the chieftain of the Diskunte, that old looking guy, put a curse on Dabura's sister so that he was like forced to fight against Dora, and that it has like a range of effect on it. So them being away from Samoria, like the curse doesn't affect her, I guess. But if they go back to Samoria, then the curse will be back on her. So that was like a great way for Gege to be like, well, you know, Dabura can't leave even if he wanted to, because if he goes back, then his sister will die. Maru tells him that maybe they would leave if at least they remove the curse with the black rope, but they no longer have time for that. Tsurugi proposes a duel. So yeah, this was an option earlier on before the big duel started. I guess before Yakumaru shot Cross, but yeah, they were saying that we could just go get the black rope from Miguel or Miguel's family. I guess Miguel's dead, but they would have to go to Africa or something, wherever Miguel lives. I don't know if they ever specifically say which country in Africa that he lives in. They just say Africa, like it's a country. I guess this is just another Gege faux pas that he loves to do, as to where he, you know, he just sets up stuff and then it never goes anywhere. This is one of the few battle manga series that I've read where that happens a lot, which is really unfortunate. But I do think Dabura could have been reasoned with, maybe. It doesn't really matter. The series is almost over anyway. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. This is more of a meta statement. Yeah, we only have like 9 chapters left, maybe even less than that point. We don't have time to devote to us going to Africa to get the black robe. Maru reflects on Tsurugi's proposal. He says that he finally understands Dabura's attitude when he fought with Dora. He tells us that he almost lost his brother and that he's also terrified of losing the friendship he formed with Yuka and Tsurugi. Maru's third eye whispers to him, and it says, "And yet you dare call yourself a warrior, insulting Tsurugi's proposal?" Maru accepts the duel, and he tells Tsurugi that he will fight with the intention of killing him. That's interesting. We didn't know that before. Apparently, Maru's third eye has like a mind of its own, which I was talking about earlier goes back to why he was able to fight while he was unconscious. In chapter like 6, I think. While Maru was like unconscious, the third eye just took over because it has like its own consciousness or something. I don't know. I guess we'll get more into it on Sunday possibly, but that's interesting, I suppose. I'm sure that's going to play a factor in their fight here. We are shown Maru's and Cross's curse technique, Chaos and Harmony. End of chapter. So that's the name of their abilities, Chaos and Harmony. We don't know what Cross's ability actually is other than the name of it, which I guess is Chaos here. I guess Harmony would be Maru's ability since it allows you to find what's closest to your heart or something like that. That's what he said in chapter 1, I'm paraphrasing. But also them using their curse techniques together allowed them to like pilot the ship to get to Earth, I think. But yeah, pretty interesting chapter. Of course, we'll get way more into this on Sunday once we actually get the chapter. So let me know what you thought about this in the comments, guys. And if you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.